Let's look at how Universal Network Observability in CloudVision, or CV-UNO in short, helps you spot issues and figure out what's really happening in your network. Sometimes the problems with your apps might not be related to the network at all, but we still have to prove that the network isn't the culprit. This video will show you how CV-UNO can make that process a whole lot easier. Here we have an application called Mastodon, a Twitter-like app, and at this point, as you can see, our app isn't loading properly. As an application owner, you or your colleagues might not know what's happening, and the initial reaction often involves suspecting network-related issues first. Let's see if we can find any clues from CV-UNO for troubleshooting. We'll go to our app dashboards in CloudVision. Immediately, you will notice that CV-UNO is reporting some issues for this specific app. Let's search for it and take a closer look. Here we find two critical events. Let's click on the end-to-end latency anomaly event and dive deep. It looks like the round-trip latency is showing some anomalies during this particular time period. CV-UNO also narrows down these anomaly events to the specific application services. We can look at this by clicking on the application link here. Here we can clearly see web and database services of this app are getting impacted by this anomaly. Clicking on one of these will take us to an app-specific view. If we go to the flows and look at the latency, specifically between web and DB, we will see that the latency has spiked to more than 5 seconds, indicating that something adverse is indeed happening. However, as you see, we know there are problems with this app, but we still don't know what the root cause might be for all these latency increases. We need to dig deeper and figure out what exactly happened during this time period. CV-UNO can significantly help us out here. We can start narrowing down the issue by looking at the related events that happened during this time. Let's go back to the anomaly we were looking at and click on the Related Events tab. Let's click on the first likely related event. This is a TCP retransmission anomaly event, and we see that around the same time frame, retransmissions have increased as well. At this point, let's dig deeper and also look into the related events of this particular TCP retransmission anomaly event. Here we see a VM migration. Let's click on it. We can see the source and the destination of this migration event. We see the VM has migrated to host 332. Let's go back and check. Here it is. For the same host 332, we see two CPU and memory breach threshold events. And as we just saw, this is the same vMotion destination host. So, it's quite possible that something is wrong here. Let's click on it and take a deep look. Right away, we see 100% CPU utilization here. And remember, we get this data through our deep integration with VMware vCenter. We can go back in our time slider here. Let's set it for the last 30 minutes. And as you see, we definitely see a CPU spike. As part of the CV-UNO features, we can now directly look at an ESXi host by clicking on the host name. Let's click on this host and zoom into this particular ESXi server. Here, we clearly see resource issues for both the CPU and memory of this destination ESXi host. The resource contention on host 332 seems to be causing the latency issues for our application. At this point, you can work with the VMware team to fix the issue. For example, one quick fix would be to vMotion this VM out of this host to another host. Let's go ahead and vMotion it out and see whether CV-UNO show the remediated state properly on the CloudVision end. Here we are starting the migration. If we look after some time, we see the app is back to normal and tweets are getting posted. If we come back to CV-UNO, as you see, there are no more active events on the app dashboard. If we look at the latency, you will see it back to normal. Wrapping up, CloudVision Universal Network Observability makes identifying and resolving network issues straightforward and efficient. This example illustrated how CV-UNO brings clarity to complex situations, ensuring your network supports your apps without a hitch. Thanks for watching.